Midweek update coming to you all over Twitter, Facebook, Missouri Times, mine. We've got some YouTube happening on there. Very grateful that you took a minute for our midweek update. Right, the post-session midweek update got some big developments. I'm going to start right off the top. The guy I'm very excited about coming in here, Matt McFarland, coming on in, new writer here at the Missouri Times. Very glad to have you. Have a seat, buddy. All right, tell some folks about yourself. Where are you from?
I am from the Detroit area in Michigan and now live in northern Ohio.
But you are willing to acknowledge that Kenny Rogers tried to cheat in Game 2 of the 06 World Series, right?
I mean, the gambler, you can't.
I'm just going to take that as a yes. Kenny Rogers is a cheating son of a bitch, and I'd say it to his face.
You can't put it one way or the other. Right?
I mean, they clearly had pine tar in his hand. I thought Tony was too nice to him. Right. But ultimately we won the series, so it all worked out.
Right.
So tell folks about yourself. When you're not right, what are you going to be doing?
I'm a big Detroit sports fan. I usually follow the Lions. When I'm not writing about politics in the Missouri State Legislature, I'm usually writing or talking about sports in some fashion.
You're the second Lions fan I've ever known. Caitlin Shellhorn was a Lions fan. I hated it for her. I mean, but it was kind of serendipitous. She was moving to California and going out there a bunch when Matt Stafford got traded to the Lions or to the Rams, and they were winning. So in her way, I think that was a Detroit win.
Right, yeah. So the whole city.
You take what you can get, right?
Yeah, the whole city. When you're a Lions fan, you celebrate your former player's success.
How have they been that bad that long? Seriously.
It's got to start at the top down. It's really been ownership and front office the whole time, right?
I just think, I was talking to somebody else, and I am not a Joe Biden hater. There was a conversation with some Democrats. It's like, just out of sheer luck, something would go better than it's gone.
Right.
Just out of sheer luck, the Lions should have made the playoffs or what. Right. They should have lucked into some good seasons just on nothing but luck, right?
Right. I mean, they lucked themselves into Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, and both retired by the time they were 30. So
isn't that interesting? Right? They both retired. They clearly could have kept playing. Barry Sanders was the top of his game.
Yeah. Right.
And they both left, and they're both Lions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that, but you're right. That is an interesting. When you think about it, I never thought, but they're both elite players that left at the top of the top.
Right.
Interesting. Let's talk a little Missouri politics here. Session wraps up. You got to watch it a little from your perch up in Columbia. I always find it funny. People go, "Oh, the state senate, they're not doing things. They're not supposed to do things. That's what they're for. Right. The House is made to do things. Lots and lots of things. Lots of things. The Senate's made to not do things. I mean, eminent domain, ag bill, huge bills they got done. They worked on one for 2 years, but they did it every year. Eminent domain, they worked on 10 years probably. Got that done. Redistrict map. I mean, there's winners and losers in this map, right? Let's look around and say Corey Bush, Steve Roberts. I mean, I generally am skeptical that a race will be that tight. Steve Roberts got what he wanted in the map. I don't think Corey Bush cared either way, to be honest with you. I never saw any pushback from her folks about where the line should be. Clearly, what they were trying to do is take skinny white liberals and keep them out of the district. Right. And that's just the truth.
Right.
They were trying to include African Americans. They were trying to include some Jewish folks in that district. And skinny white liberals from Maplewood were trying to keep out of it. Mm-hmm. And the state senate didn't care either way, so they helped the senator. That's what's going to happen, right?
Right.
He's in the room. She's in Washington. They don't know her. Who cares?
I think that's kind of been the trend around the entire state is helping out, local senators.
I gotta first of all give a shout out. Toot Toot and Lounge, the place to eat in Bethany. You're going to read a story from Kelt later today. We were up there, a young lady, very talented, taking on an incumbent. Kind of got the little peek behind the curtain there. And learned about all things Bethany, all things Grundy County. I'll tell you the story about my favorite Grundy County store for you. Look around the second, looked fine. A little more Republican. Ann Wagner probably didn't need it, didn't care, but made other people feel good. The third, the district that created all the drama. Half of Boone County's in it. Then you've got, I think the Missouri Mapper did a project where it's about 36% St. Charles County. Now, the actual number is higher, but the Republican primary vote. The most interesting story of the session we'll post tomorrow, one that you're helping us with.
Yes.
About what really happened the last day of session. Going to be very interesting to kind of sort through and find out what actually went down. Then the 7th district, the 8th district, we got some St. Louisans stuck with us. The district's about a 5th St. Louis now. That sucks for a hillbilly. I'm all for St. Louisans, but I'm all for St. Louisans staying in St. Louis. Keep all your ideas, all your charter schools and your lockdowns and your masks. Just keep it up there. But now we've got a lot. Now a fifth of the 8th district is lockdowns and all that stuff. Hopefully keep their murders up there, but we'll see. I do think it's funny. If you may think you're from some place called Imperial, and Imperial may actually be a place in the world. I wouldn't know. But to the rest of the world, you're from St. Louis, right? You can tell someone you're from Pennsylvania, and God bless you. But you're from St. Louis. Right. To a person in Davis, Scott County, you're in St. Louis. So we'll see if that district becomes open next year. I doubt it does. It'll be interesting to see how having a fifth of it be Starbucks drinking St. Louisans fits in with good old Vienna sausage, Budweiser drinking hillbillies. But anyhow, going forward, let's look. Cleaver got his. The district he wants. It was great. Sam Graves, as you do, however, you could ask me which Congress will definitely get what he wants. I think Sam Graves, I would have given no hesitation. I mean, the only thing that gets him is he's got his districts keep getting bigger, keep losing population. If I had to guess, Sam Graves would probably rather not have Lincoln County. Would probably rather come down a little further south in central mid-Missouri. But he's got Lincoln County, which is one of the fastest growing counties in the state. I would say after COVID, it's just going to be a straight stream of folks out of St. Louis to Lincoln County where no one's going to bother. I bet you as fast as they can build houses and lay broadband, that trend continues. Then looking around the 7th, this is where the fourth had to accommodate the 3rd, and it had to accommodate Senator Bratton, and he didn't want Columbia. He wanted to half it up. You would thought Sarah Walsh would have had more friends in the House, but she had none at the end of the day, and they just stuck it to her, so she had dropped out of the race. Taylor Burks, probably not the map he wants, but he's continuing on. Rick Bratton, I mean, the negotiations there made the 4th district essentially a suburban Kansas City district. Before it was a central Missouri district that had suburban Kansas City, but now between anywhere you really call a suburb of Kansas City, the person there has a big advantage. If only Alford or Bratton were running, this race would be over. But since they're both running, maybe they both cut into each other and give Burks a chance to get up there. Kalina Bruce has a lot of potential from the southern part of that district. But here's where all these things come together. The part that I think everybody could live with the map okay. The part I don't think anybody felt good about except Senator Burleson was the 7th. And this is what my take on this. I think Senator Burleson wanted to be with his conservative caucus out of this. He wanted to oppose the map. He also went to great pains this session to focus on his congressional race and not be in the middle of stuff. He went to great lengths to make that happen. And for the most part, was extremely successful, kind of just staying on the radar, staying out of drama. However, he wanted to do his part with his conservative caucus friends and try to filibuster for that. End of the day, I think he picked Webster County out of a hat and just said, well, I don't want Webster County. Right. I don't really think if, in these three-way races, let's say Jay Watson wins Webster County, feels right. He wins it by 10, 12, 15 points, right? Is that margin going to really impact that race at the end of the day? I would say probably not, right? I just don't see whatever that number is being that impactful. But I think he wanted to be with his friends. We have come up with a reason to be on the floor. And he didn't take many turns. He took a few. Then when the Webster County people found out what happened, who was behind it, they blew up Matt. And then he had to get pot committed. And he never could get himself unwound from it. I don't think Eric Burleson particularly cared that much whether Webster County was in or not. I think after they all blamed him for trying to literally cut their courthouse in half and do the rest of us, I think they were red hot ticked, and he probably then didn't even go on. I think it was almost a self-fulfilling prophecy for him. He created a problem that he didn't need. Really, the way it shaped out, Webster County is all cut up and mangled. Webster County and Blue Springs are in the same congressional district, which is insane. But it probably worked out fine for him, but it's probably a net negative. I don't really think Eric Burleson's campaign, probably if he could have picked somewhere to cut, would have been Branson. Right. Probably would have cut Branson out. But I would assume Mike Newton's going to run very strong down there. I just don't think at the end of the day, of all the people this fight was not worth it for, really Senator Honor didn't lose anything. I mean, he came in, that's probably what the courts would have gave about a third of the district. He came in with a little more maybe, but nothing. He didn't lose anything. His term limit goes up. Senator Bratt was a big winner. Senator Burleson, I think, was a winner, but I think the fight just wasn't worth. The juice was not worth the squeeze.
Yeah, the action wasn't worth it.
And that's kind of, Senator Rose did a great job staying out of fights that could cause trouble all session. It's just this redistricting fight, man. It was going to come find you. You were going to be on the side before it was over. It didn't matter how, you were just going to be there. Again, shout out. I got a piece of advice for you. Come to Jeff City over the interim, right? You have a conference. You have a meeting. Don't go to the JB Hotel. Don't go to somewhere that is, I'm not going to say rundown, but don't go to a rundown place. The Courtyard by Marriott. Across the road, terrific new hotel, new meeting rooms, indoor pool, kids are going to love. It's got a restaurant, bar right there. The best experience you can have. They have a little shuttle that'll take you back to the Capitol, back to downtown. If you're of your Grand Cafe, maybe you have that extra glass of wine, they'll come pick you up and bring you back. It is a expertly ran hotel, expert people. If you need someone to text your old buddy Faughn, 429-5770. Hook you up with the guy that does the hookups. You're going to buy me a drink. You're going to see me somewhere this summer. We're going to be at the lake. We're going to be at Dog Days. You're going to be like, Faughn, I took your advice on the Courtyard. Great deal. Thank you. You're going to bring me a Captain Dime with 2 limes. It's going to hook you up. Seriously, I don't know if it's $10 more. It's probably not even $10 more. Make the move. Go to the nice place. Go to the place where most people say, oh, my God, yeah, I'm coming back to the DNR meeting next month because it's here. Don't go to the crappy place. Do something. Make yourself look good. Go to the Courtyard by Marriott. Let me know. A couple of these coming out of session. Senator Brown, illegal immigration. I mean, it's amazing to me. I really wouldn't have thought this. You ask folks that Republican primary, you know, everybody's got a poll, right? Let me just guess. If you're showing me the poll, you're winning, right? I would say that Senate stuff. I would say that Hartzler, Greitens, and Schmidt all have a pretty even shot at winning. You know what I mean? Greitens support is what it is. If you're still there in that basement, then you're there. Right. I'd say Schmidt has a little room to grow. Hartzler probably has the easiest path to grow. They all probably right there. It's going to make for a terrific thing for you to ride about the country. It will be the most interesting U.S. Senate race, especially Senate primary, I think I've ever seen. It's going to be, it's a big league NFL fight. It's going to be fun to watch. Pivoting forward, I saw some polling. I saw IVR polling, complete phone call polling, all illegal immigration, top of Republican voters' minds. Now, I don't know that makes total sense to me, but I bet you, if folks are asking about gas prices, that's probably in rural Missouri at the top of people's thoughts because we drive still. City folks are getting their Prius and drive 5 or 6 blocks to work. Doesn't affect them as much. But you drive in your F-150, it sucks. Yeah. But illegal immigration, Senator Brown's got an interim committee going to study illegal immigration in Missouri. Tell him, Jim Murphy, he tried to tell folks. And luckily the budget committee put some money aside, a little bit of money, to if you see a bunch of illegal folks on a job site, you can make a phone call and then go check. Just nobody's going to come in with a bunch of jackbooted thugs and guns, and they're just going to go check. And you know what? I think everybody's heart goes out to a guy that's working for a living, even if he's illegal. However, you're taking those jobs away from Missouri. It's going to be interesting to see where he takes this committee. Going to be that's something I think you're going to take a trip to Tropical Raw this summer. Wonderful. Go down and see and watch this committee and see how it works. I got a great story to tell you. I'm going to end with 2 stories. I was up in Bethany, right? Ran into a Northwest Missouri State grad, and she told me there's a legendary story about my buddy, the former speaker Elijah Hart. Now Mr. Springfield Radio. He was a student body president, which will surprise no one that knows him. But during graduation, he falls asleep on the stage. The student body president sits by the president of the university. Right. He falls asleep on stage. Great story. I can't wait to do his show next time. We're going to be talking about the time he fell asleep on the stage during graduation. That's going to be outstanding. I actually heard the story at the Tutu in Bethany. It really is famous. It really is the place to eat in Bethany. Like, no kidding. Even if you're over Hamilton, take you a second, go to the Tutu. When you're going to North Star Court or something, the Tutu's great. Not as great as the Courtyard by Marriott, but great. And then last story. So we're doing show in Missouri. By the way, this week on the show, we're going to have the dean of the Missouri Republican Party, David Bartledge, Rasheen Aldridge, the firebrand, and the Prince of Phelps County himself, Jack Cardetti. We're not going to have a featured guest. Too much to talk about. One more Republican. I've asked the man with the slick back hair, the silver tongue of Twitter, Greg Keller, but he hasn't texted me back. So if you know Greg Keller, please tweet him and say Faughn is asking you to be on his show. Could you maybe put down the Twitter account for 5 seconds and text? Make sure he hasn't texted me. So that'd be a jerk thing. No, he has not. So light him up. It's at Greg Keller, or you can tweet at his hair. One of his hair's on Twitter account. I was reading about Roy Gardner, the Smiling Bandit,
Right.
the guy from Grundy County. And yes, we talked about the John Michael Montgomery son. And I did get a promise from Commissioner Ray. They will at some point have John Michael Montgomery sing Grundy County auction in Grundy County. It's not going to be this year. Travis Tritt, who he should probably buy a hat, right? I mean, he's down. The career's not skyrocketing, correct?
Right at this point.
I smell TRUBLE about his career.
Mm-hmm.
So I might buy it. I mean, because I've saw Travis Tritt before, but if he bought the hat, that'd be the move at this point. You got to change it.
For sure.
And the place to change it up might be the Grundy County Fair.
Right.
So, looking back, the Smiling Bandit, he goes to Alkin. He stole almost $1 million, and this is in the 30s, in the Depression. You got to knock with a lot of banks in the Depression to steal that much money. They catch him in California. He goes to Alcatraz, right? The actual Alcatraz. And while he's there, he writes an autobiography called Helcatraz. And he wrote it with a guy that they would let come out and talk to him, and they had to help him, ghostwriter, I guess. Well, the book comes out a year before he's out of jail. So the guy he wrote it with took all the money, stole from the bandit, right? He banded the bandito. He felt bad, so he got him a career because he was such a nice guy. That's why he was able to steal things. He would have people that he stole from write him letters in jail, wondering how he's doing because he was the Smiling Bandit, such a nice guy. Right? So this writer felt bad for taking all the money from this bestseller. So he started getting speaking engagements. He went all around the world speaking. And he came back to San Francisco, and he opened up a cyanide. When you think of cyanide tablets, opens it up. The gas kills him. But before the Smiling Bandit killed himself, he put a note on the door and taped it to the front door of his room. Do not open. Poison gas. Call police.
Right.
The Smiling Bandit.
Mm-hmm.
So even at the end,
he was friendly.
He was being a friendly guy.
Right.
What are you doing? Great Missouri stories. I want to thank you all for watching the Midweek Update. DM me. We didn't do questions this time because I actually had 2 meetings. They were all about the map. They're all about the intersection. Bottom line is the Senate's not supposed to pass things. The House is. The House is supposed to be mad at the Senate for not passing more of their things. The Senate's not supposed to do it. So that's no. Governor's going to sign the map today. They went all in on the map. I'm going to write the full story about the well, we're going to write the full story. Last day session. As a matter of fact, we're going to get back to it. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you Sunday, 10:30 on PBS here in Central Missouri. ABC at 9 a.m. We'll have David Barclays. The tips will be for us, and the tongue will be sharp. And we'll see you Sunday on This Week in Missouri Politics.